Hello students, now again I am back with part 4 of this chapter 2, the food factory of plants. In my previous session I discussed about the various unusual plants and also the functions of leaves. Now in this class we are going to discuss about how plants and animals are interdependent on each other. Now, as you know, on this earth, when we talk about biotic components, these plants and animals both have biotic components, and it's very true that we can't survive without either the plants or the animals, and these two also can't survive without each other because they are totally interdependent on each other for their survival. So now that only we are going to discuss, and the topic is interdependence between plants and animals. So under this topic, very first thing what we see how they are dependent is they both are dependent on each other for food and shelter. Now let us discuss how they are dependent on each other for food and shelter. All the animals or many animals you will see that they make their homes on trees. All the birds, even bats, they are hanging on the trees. Birds make their nest on the trees, and different insects or different flying creatures, they sit on the tree and stay there. So we see that animals are dependent on plants for their shelter. Now animals, because human being also comes under the category of animals. You see all the animals, cow, buffalo, lion, domestic animal, wild animal, pet animals, whichever animal, they all are dependent on plants for their food. We eat vegetables. From where do we get that? We get it from the plants. We eat fruits. We get it from the plants. We even for medicines, most of the medicines are made from plants. So indirectly, whatever we eat, whatever animals eat, that is obtained from plants. So in one way we can say that we are dependent on plants for food. So we see that all the animals are dependent on plants for food and shelter. That means here we can write animals are dependent on plants for food and shelter. This is one point. Second point, what we need after food, what we need to survive, that is oxygen, air. We breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Just opposite is with the plants. Plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathes out oxygen. So see how this interdependency works. We provide carbon dioxide to plants and plants provides us oxygen. This is the way we both are having our survival. Suppose if there will be no plants around, no plants on earth, from where do we get the oxygen? And we will die. If there will be no animals, no human beings on the earth, from where the plants will get carbon dioxide? So plants will die. That means these two can't survive without each other, as all animals and human beings get oxygen from plants. Same way, all plants get carbon dioxide from animals. So now you can see how plants and animals are dependent on each other for oxygen and carbon dioxide. Next point, pollination. Now what is this pollination? Pollination is like plants, it helps in the reproduction of plants. There are flowers with the plants. Flowers have some pollen grains. What happens? How do animals help in pollination? Like butterflies, flies, mosquitoes, mainly butterflies and other insects. They sit on one flower, and then when they sit, these pollens get stuck to their legs and wings and their body parts. Now these flies, when they sit on the other flower, the pollen grains are transferred from one flower to another flower, and it is called pollination, which results in the formation of seeds that you will study in higher classes. So here, what is helping in pollination? Pollination is a process which happens in the plant, in the flowers of the plants, and this pollination is done with the help of insects, butterflies, or you can say it with the living creatures or animals. So here also what we see in this case, in the case of pollination, plants are dependent on animals for their pollination. Next one, dispersal of seeds. As you know, in a single plant there are many numerous fruits are there. Have you ever seen that all the fruits fall on under the same plant and they grow into a new plant under the same tree? No. Like suppose today a bird got a ripe guava from a tree. The bird picked that guava and it flew away to some other place. There the bird enjoyed the guava and left the droppings there. What will happen? That guava seed which was picked from some other place is now carried to some new place, and there the seeds are fallen on the in the soil, and from there when it gets the favorable condition, those seeds grow into a new plant. So here what is happening? Seeds are dispersed from one place to another place. So the plants are able to disperse their seed from one place to another place, but is that plant carrying its seed to one place to another? No. Then who is the carrier here? It is the bird. That means animals help plants in seed dispersal. Because like we human beings, we also come under the category of animals. What we do? Okay, we eat certain fruit. For example, take for example chiku. We ate chiku. We have bought chiku from somewhere else. That chiku grew. From there it is sold to another place. From there the person, I suppose I bought those chiku. I brought that chiku to the home. I ate it and threw the seed somewhere around my house. Maybe that will grow into a new plant. Is it? That means the parent plant of that chiku was wherever. We don't know. But now that new plant of that seed is grown around my house. This is called dispersal of seed, and this is done by animals. So dispersal of seed, dispersal of seeds. Here also we see that the plants are dependent on animals for seed dispersal. So children, now we have studied that how plants and animals are interdependent on each other. Now this interdependency of plants and animals keeps the balance of the nature. And you know, if any one of these, either plant or animal, they get disturbed by natural or human interference, the balance of nature will be disturbed. I'll explain you with the example, like suppose in a environment, in a surrounding, if all the plants die, there is no plant. Suppose, imagine that there are no plants around. Can we survive? Can animals survive? No. Why? First of all, we will not get the food because plants are the main source of food, directly or indirectly. Even when we say, okay, we will drink milk, we don't need plants, we can drink milk. But just give a view from where we will get that milk. That we will get from cow. We don't need plants. But how we will get from cow? Cow needs to eat grass and leaves. If there will be no plants, where the cow will get its food? And when the cow will not get its food, where we will get the milk? That means if there will be no plants, we will not get food. Secondly, what we are breathing in? Oxygen. From where do we get oxygen? Of course, from plants. No plants, no oxygen means animals will also not survive. So what we see that this balance in nature is must. Plants are also must for the environment. If we destroy plants, that means we are destroying our own life. In the same way, take for example, all the animals are dead. Will the plants able to survive? No. The fruits will fall on the same place. Those fruits will not be carried to other place. There will be no dispersal of seeds and it will all get decayed. In the second way also, all the animals, they breathe in oxygen. In the same way the plants breathe in carbon dioxide. If there will be no animals, will the plants get carbon dioxide sufficient amount? No. And the plants will slowly die or it will be diseased. And so finally the balance of nature is disturbed. So to keep the balance of nature, we have to take care of all the living biotic and abiotic components around us. That means water, air, plants, animals, all these things we need to keep it in balance. Then only our survival is possible. Thank you, children. So here I end this chapter, Food Factory of Plants. The notes are sent to you. I hope you will copy down the notes properly with correct spelling, understand it and learn it. Thank you.